I'm a teacher, so I apply what I know about learning with my students. I also apply this knowledge in the Enduro setting. I want to share it with you so you can train to ride safer, more confidently, and with a lot more enjoyment. Today, I'll tell you about learning, attention span, and how these things apply to training Enduro. First of all, learning is basically a long-term or a permanent change in behavior as a result of experience. Even though learning a subject at school feels intellectual and practicing a sport feels physical, the mechanisms of learning are actually the same. Long-term changes in the brain and nervous system happen, and the result is that whatever we're learning becomes accurate, efficient, and automatic. In intellectual fields, we see it when the information springs up in our head without us having to look for it. Like pop quiz, what's the capital of Italy? In sports, we see it when we move without thinking, like catching a ball. Through practicing, we've learned that the capital is Rome, and we've learned how to move in order to control a ball in flight. The more we practice, the more automatic the behavior becomes. When something is automatic, it lives in our subconscious. That means we no longer have to think about it consciously, and it no longer takes up space in our attention span. This is really important because our attention span is limited. It fills up, and it's easy to overload it. When we're riding a trail, our attention is already busy. We're reading the terrain as it unfolds. We're feeling the motorcycle. We're feeling our body. We're managing our emotions. We're managing our thoughts. We're stressed. It occupies a lot of space in our attention span. And because attention is a limited resource, we cannot focus on everything at once. That's why having skills stored in the subconscious is so valuable. Subconscious skills do not require attention. They're automatic. They're available when we need them, without pulling focus away from the trail or the bike or anything important. Even when we're stressed, we can do these subconscious actions. When we need to call on a technique that isn't established in the subconscious yet, that's not automatic yet. We need to use some of our attention span in order to do it. Now, because it's a limited resource, we cannot give it all the attention that it needs. And then, when we try to do it, we don't manage to do it precisely. What then ensues is a great example of something we should spend more time training. And this brings us to the practical side of the video. The definition I gave you earlier of learning is a long-term change in behavior that's caused by experience. At school, I give my students exercises to do, games and homework, so that they practice whatever we're learning. This is experience. In Enduro, that experience takes the form of drills. When I train a skill, like a wheelie for example, I break it down into its building blocks and I practice each of these parts in different ways. And then I practice them all together. Like this, all the different elements of the skill and all the different ways of performing the skill get stored in the subconscious. And then the wheelie becomes more and more automatic. To be specific, the different building blocks, some of them are the controls of the bike, brake, clutch, throttle, my body movement, safety drills to get the wheel down, timing, wheel placement, and there are more. Drilling these individually makes the building blocks automatic. Drilling them together makes different combinations and different ways of getting the front wheel up automatic. So that means that out on the trail, for me to get the front wheel up, it isn't something I have to stop to think about. It's an automatic response. I can do it in different ways for different situations without conscious effort. Apply this idea to how you train Enduro. Apply it to how you study or how you approach any other kind of learning in your life. Practice does not make perfect. Practice makes progress. Stop recording.